What is real prayer all about? How does praying actually work? Is it just a bunch of nonsense that came from the Bible or other religious movements? Or is there actually some power in prayer that can help change our lives? Because that is essentially the promise. Especially if you look in the Bible, it was said that if you pray and you believe that you will receive, well, then you will. So there's a promise made there that you can believe anything you want to believe concerning an objective, and then you will get it. So that is a huge promise. It's essentially saying it doesn't put a limit on anything. It's not saying it's only for this or that. It's whatever you believe to be true, and it will come to pass. You will have it, etc. Well, then I think it's very important that we contemplate the true power of prayer so that we can actually make use of it effectively in our lives. Because my mentor, Bob Proctor, would say, prayer is the movement that takes place between spirit and physical form. So it takes place between you, your body, and your own mind, you could say. Spiritually speaking, you have an idea. You have something you want to pray for, which means, I want this. I would like to have this result, this thing, or this, whatever it is. You want something to improve in your life that is not currently here physically, and then you get to praying, which means that this idea has to move with and through you into physical reality. So it happens through you itself as a person, as an individual. So you don't really try to make it move through something outside of yourself. You focus your mind inwardly on the depths of your own consciousness. So true prayer is actually a very fascinating thing, because if you do it right, it ultimately shows you that prayer is a deep subconscious conviction concerning something that is important to you. So you could pray for whatever: success, money, health, wealth, love life improvements, all these things. You could pray for it, but as long as it is just a conscious thought, it's not really influencing the deeper parts of your subconscious mind, so the prayer tends to remain unanswered. Now I want you to really think about this. You can, in this very moment, think consciously about whatever you want. Doesn't mean that you do. Many people actually don't. They just let their conscious mind be controlled by the outside world, by what is happening in the world, what other people are telling them. So their mind is going all over the place. So for prayer, you also need to have a focused mind. You have to be clear on where it is that you want to go, what it is that you want to realize in your life. Now, consciously, you can do that in an instant. You can, just right now, you can think of something that you would like to have, would like to achieve. Consciously, you're already there. Now, you want to make sure that it also is accepted subconsciously, because once it's accepted in your subconscious mind, that is when the prayer actually can do stuff for you in your life. That's what most people are missing. They're only working consciously on their dreams, but they don't know how to influence and get their subconscious mind to work with them in order to make that prayer of theirs a reality. So ultimately, to go into the closet and pray means to sit down, close your eyes, and enter into your own consciousness, to focus your awareness on the objective you intend to realize first and foremost, and then harmonize yourself emotionally with that dream. And you do that by developing conviction, by developing belief that you can do it. Now here's the thing, because many people, they seem to have an issue with, how do I change my beliefs? How do I develop a new conviction? It is not complicated at all. The fact that you're asking this means that your conscious mind currently is entertaining everything that it should not entertain concerning your dream. Because if you simply focus on your dream and let that be the dominant activity of your consciousness, then you will develop belief and conviction automatically concerning this dream. Your current convictions and beliefs happened through a repetitious process, through repetition. So a certain idea of lack and limitation was repeatedly exposed to you, to your consciousness, and your subconscious mind came to accept it. So now if you start to pray for abundance and success or whatever it is that you're after, there's going to be an initial conflict between your old beliefs and this new desire and dream that you have. But prayer is asking you to fully yield, fully give yourself over to this desire, in the faith, in the confidence that it will then become your new reality, that it will shift your reality around. That is the beauty of prayer. that most people don't get, because they think that it's just sitting down and folding your hands and asking God, please give this to me. And if they don't get it, they say, oh, God didn't want me to have it. Well, there might be certain things that for whatever reason you'll be unable to achieve physically speaking, but most of your desires and dreams that you have are inspired by God in the first place. It's like trying to show you the uniqueness of your own self, something unique that you could be expressing in this world right now that you're here. So that is why we shouldn't dismiss our dreams in general. But again, sadly, people do that. But it's because they don't understand prayer. Because if you know what prayer is and how to use it, then you can take any of those dreams you have and make them a reality for the most part. See, because I know that we're not going to be here physically in the same body forever and ever. So it is true that at some point, whenever it is, you're going to move on from this world. And then perhaps in many cases you still have dreams and goals where you're like, oh, I wish I could have achieved that. Well, that's fine. That's just how life goes. But it doesn't have to be the case where you're like, I can never achieve anything that I want. That's the sad part. That's where most people are. They don't even pursue anything that they would like to achieve because they don't understand the power of their own mind. But prayer is just simply an inner, deep faith and conviction concerning a certain thing. So you can do it for wealth, health, happiness, or whatever again. You just have to analyze for yourself, am I actually convinced that this can become a reality for me? Because that is the only price you have to pay. You just have to convince yourself of the truth of your desire, and then it becomes a reality over time. Because the conviction is a sign that you are in harmony with your dream, subconsciously. This is how you can easily measure it. Another way to easily measure it is to see whether you love your dream. That's another way of looking at it. It's another sign. If you truly love your dream, it's a sign that your subconscious mind is in harmony with the dream that you are entertaining inside your consciousness. And that is also prayer work, because you are internally in harmony with something that you would like to realize, and then because of that harmony, you will keep forever growing and growing towards the realization of that objective. It will start to move into form with and through you. That is why with healing, for example, all these stories you can find and can read about, well, health, the healing power, resides within ourselves. You see, if it was outside of ourselves, then in many cases we'd probably not be healed. But we can see when we're sick, the body itself has a healing power within in order to make us well again. But we can magnify that power through belief, through subconscious belief that this is the reality for us, that we have a power inside ourselves that can heal us and help us overcome whatsoever it is that is troubling us. By understanding this effective manner of praying, first using your imagination and then building the conviction that this is what I want, this is how I want my life to be, this is where I'm going, this is how wonderful it's going to be because I can see it in my imagination. Your subconscious mind becomes more and more ignited and united with the dream. And then, through that energetic balance within the conscious and subconscious mind, the idea can move into reality with and through you. So prayer happens within your very self. So you don't even have to necessarily go to a church or a specific location in order to pray effectively. Ultimately, you're going to have to understand the workings between your conscious and subconscious mind in order to pray effectively. And then it doesn't matter where you stand physically at all. That is absolutely wonderful. The more you grasp this, the more you can work with it consciously and deliberately, and then all of your wishes will come true. Isn't that what you want? Because ultimately, the idea of prayer is not nonsense, but it is nonsense to just fold your hand and ask God, as a force outside of yourself, to give something hopefully to you, when this same God has given you the power to create. Your consciousness has been blessed, has been created and manifest in such a way that you can use it to create for yourself then individually. But we're not taught this when growing up usually. We act so dependent on the physical world itself that we constantly doubt ourselves. We don't realize the power that is inherent in the fact that you have a consciousness that is unlimited in its essence. Like, there's no limit to your consciousness. There's no limit to the things you can think or imagine. They're all self-imposed. Ultimately, You can keep going on in your thoughts and imagination. New things keep showing up over and over and over again. Your thoughts keep going, your imagination just keeps going on and on. There's no limit there, but we make the limits. Now, if we want to stop doing that, we have to deliberately and consciously decide this is going to change around for me. I have a dream and I'm going for this dream. First I'm going to imagine it, then I'm going to feel the joy of what that dream entails, because feeling the joy means that you're involving your subconscious mind. So be willing to do it, be willing to allow it to happen, even if it seems ridiculous at first. You have to do it. Change your mind and change your life. As long as your mind is not going to be changed around, your life cannot change around either. The only thing that could happen is that you forcefully try to change your life around, but then you end up failing sooner or later because your consciousness was never changed properly either to go along with these changes physically. This is a very interesting point. You can force yourself to change your life, physically speaking, by action, but your consciousness might still be locked into old habitual ideas, thoughts, limitations. So sooner or later, all this willpower is going to run out and your old habits are going to take over. But prayer, again, also means the complete transformation of your own mind. It means the complete transformation of the habits of your own conscious and mostly subconscious mind, because the habits, of course, happen unconsciously, generally speaking, so they're part of your subconscious mind. But true prayer means that you are willing to change those habits around so that they line up with your desire, and then things can change around and improve for you. Then you'll be compelled through subconscious itself to do things differently. And as you do things differently, then your life will change around. It's just that obvious. But again, don't force it. Do it scientifically. Do it effectively. Know what prayer is. It is allowing the dream that you have to move into form with and through you. And that can only happen if your conscious and subconscious mind are both in harmony with the dream itself. That there's no conflict about it. No doubts and worries. Just total faith and conviction. Then you'll know the power of true prayer.